As someone who loves love, I can now admit to having plenty of fantasies about being swept off my feet by a knight in shining armor with no problematic traits and a desire to be with a single mother, albeit with a lot of baggage. I can now say that the internet has successfully managed to convince me that good men are like a solar eclipse or a golden unicorn, meant to be known but never to be seen, let alone met. I often wonder, with all these things that I'm watching on the internet, if it truly is possible that a man can meet a good woman and a woman a good man. Or is this just a fantasy that we've all created in our heads to make our lives feel just that tad bit better? I searched around social media and heard all sorts of people talking about their terrible dating experiences, how awful a person they dated once was, and how incompetent men are, and how superficial women are. And although I have experienced my fair share, and probably contributed to somebody else's stories, I wonder if we can ever get to a place where love is respected and valued again. Of course, I speak as someone who has never been married, and indulges in listening to married people speak about marriage. I have learned from them that marriage isn't always about love, but rather a sacrifice and choice. A choice to choose to do whatever necessary to ensure peace, which destroys my notion and fantasy of being loved forever and ever by my person. I once watched a show, and the man on the show spoke about how even though love dies and perhaps even disappears for a while, in fact, what ends up happening isn't just that love dies and disappears, but that it changes and it evolves, and the reasons you loved somebody in the beginning are not always the reasons you remain married or you stay in a 20, 30 year long relationship. But that in fact, love can look like something, love can be something. You don't have to always say how much you love one another, but you can show love even if you don't feel it. You can show that love by doing small little sacrifices for one another. Show that love by learning to hold your tongue even if you think what you want to say is constructive, but you know it'll hurt the feeling of the other. And sometimes it might feel like you're roommates, and sometimes it might feel like your brother and sister. But love isn't what you say, but rather what you do. But as I watch my generation fall in and out of love, in and out of marriage, in and out of all the things that we grew up taught and seeing by Disney, that love is forever, that love is unconditional, that marriage is beautiful and sacred and never ends. I wonder, why is our generation so different? Or is it our generation that's different, or has it always been this way? Have people always taken for granted love? Have people always taken for granted marriage? People always take for granted the sacredness of making a commitment, or have we all just lost the ability to care about the other person, to care about their needs, their wants, and to ensure that we can do whatever necessary to bring peace to that person's life as well as our own? Have we lost love, or have we lost our humanity? Is it truly impossible to find humanity again in the act of love? Or are we all just looking in the wrong place? I don't know what the answers are to my questions, but one thing is for sure: change does need to happen. I just wonder who's brave enough to start it.